All right, everyone. So I'm going to pull up a couple of things here. Let's see. So basically, I was looking earlier, and I'm going to try to zoom in here if I can. Yeah, here we go. So Linda posted a whoa, came in a little bit too far here. So Linda posted in the group here. She said she was struggling with the PT. So I'm going to read this, and I talked to her about it, so she knows I'm going to make this video. So really struggling with the renegotiating with my only full-time PT. So that's important. It's her only full-time PT. She's the other PT, by the way. He wants more. I'm tired of bending. So that's an important phrase right there, and I've seen that thrown around a little bit. The metrics don't support the jump he's looking for as a base of bonus. In time, they will. Right now, they don't. Regardless of several discussions, we are still far apart. Let's assume I know the ins and out of labor laws regarding termination, can seemingly handle absorbing his caseload. Okay, so, and then I've got full-time admin. So she's got a full-time admin. My expenses are covered with my billable time. His absorbed caseload would be gravy to the business, but the extra hours would be taxing on me. So really important. So she's going to start treating a little bit more. She's going to have to go and find a new PT. And she said I could sustain this for the rest of 2018, but wouldn't want to do that much longer. She's got bigger goals for herself. She'd want to be out of treatment by later this fall, so she could go on to do some cool trips and stuff like that. So she wants to have an automated clinic that's up and running. What are some of the less obvious impacts of my business? And she goes into detail. And there's some really awesome comments in here. But a common theme too that I'm seeing is a lot of it has to do with, like, is he a team player? Core values. If they're a topic of discussion. So there's a lot of emotion being flown around on this topic. So, and that's normal. I mean, we're humans, so we think of emotion a lot. We, like to put ourselves in that situation, and see, you start going through some of the comments and reading those. And there's a lot of good thought in there. So, personally, what I do is I used to be that guy. I used to be a lot of emotions and on the fly and not knowing stuff. And we're not throwing Linda under the bus too much here, but when she says the metrics don't support the jump, so when I asked her for the metrics, they weren't as clear cut as she thought they were. So, and that's always important. Guesstimations, estimates, thinking that your metrics are this, but they're really that. It's super important to get your metrics as streamlined as you can. I'm talking like down to almost $1, just like your P&L and balance sheets. They really have to be on point so you can make these critical decision making. So we're not even a week removed, so I'm super excited about this because I could pull up my break-even analysis. So with Linda here, we talked about it. These are as best as we could possibly can number-wise. She's going to get me more official numbers, but this is kind of like how I want you guys to use this break-even analysis to make objective metric decision-making and not subjective decision-making. Because when you make metric decision-making, you really realize that once you start manipulating the numbers, that it's not as bad as you think it is. 10K jump in a year, it's like, holy smokes, that's a lot of money and I can't pay that. It's like when medical receptionists ask for an extra $1 or $2, when you start to get like a certain way, well, are you worth $2 extra an hour and blah, blah, blah. And then you type it into this break-even analysis and you realize that it's like, it doesn't affect anything because, $2 extra for a medical receptionist, you might not even have to see an extra patient per day to cover that cost. You might have to see like one extra patient a month to cover that cost. So I'm going to kind of go down the list here. So while we're doing this, I just want to explain this a little bit more. I had some questions, but how many patients does the clinic have to treat? So I talked to Linda. She said, hey, I would like to make 10 grand profit a month. That would be a really good number. Just going to show you guys some of the yellow stuff. She has a 92% arrival rate for new patient evals, which is awesome. Canada is a little bit different than the United States. So my US people don't cringe when you see 6.5. I know some of us are double that here in the States, but Canada usually averages around 6.5 average length of stay per plan of care for those guys. Because they're a little bit more cash up there and they have a little bit more, I'm not sure about the Canadian system, but they have a lot of amount of visits, but her cancellation and no-show rate is pretty good. It's only 2%, which is awesome. I know a lot of people in the States here would love that number. So actually these There you go. Average reimbursement up there in Canada is $65 per visit. And then I just kind of walk down some of her variable expenses here all the way down the list. She's got a medical receptionist. She's got her PT that's in question here, making $36 an hour. And then she's not paying herself yet. So we had a discussion about that she should, especially because she's treating, she should be paying herself some money for that. So she put herself at $40. So she's going to start doing paying herself. Payrolls here. Now you gotta don't freak out about this number here. Her expenses there in Canada, like I'm thinking about moving right now. Variable expenses are just stupid low for her clinic. Rent up there is super cheap. Benefits, medical, dental, it's all covered in Canada. It's incredible. So this number is definitely going to be a little bit higher. Typically, we're around like 55% here in the States. So her payroll, and obviously I'm including her now. So this would be a little bit lower if you took out, so let's just not include her, drops it down to 69. I put her back up in here for 40 and it drops back up to 76. So, but it's still a little bit higher, but everything else is pretty low. Grand total expenses is $22,363 is her total expenses per month. Okay. So I'm going to come up here into, how many patients does the clinic have to treat per day, week, and month? Okay, so in order for her to break even, now this is break even. This isn't to make 10K. They need to see 15 patients a day. They need to see 79 patients per week, and they need to see 344 patients per month. Okay, so desired profit. So if she does want to make 10K, she's got to see 8 extra patients a day, 23. She wants to see per week, 114. Per month, 497. Now, some people are asking about this equation right here. All this is if you come down here and you make 10K, you got a 2% no-show rate, you're going to lose revenue on that. So your net profit is going to be 9,353. Now, some of you are just like, well, I want to make 10K. So this calculation here, no-show, cancel, reschedule, and then missed opportunities, that's basically when you have an open slot and you never filled it. If you want to make 10K, you have to see 507 patients per month to make 10,000. If you go 10,000 and then you have 497 per month, and that's at a 2% loss, so you net 9,353. So this number here is going off of the 2%. This number here is going off of just 10 straight up. Okay, so it's taken into account. So if I bring this up to 5% here, numbers are going to change. See how that jumped up to 522? So in order to make 10K, I need to make 522 visits at a 5%. If I bring that down to 2%, it drops all the way down to 507. Some people here in the States have, 10% no-show cancellation rate. Now we need to see 547. Okay. And then that drops my net profit down here to 6,769, which is 497 visits per month. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, but let's just bump this back down to 2%. Now, kind of the fun part here that we're going to do. Sorry, I just knocked my cup over. So what we're going to do is the fun part here. So she's at 15, so break even, right? So break even in the desired profit. I want you guys to keep an eye on these two numbers here. So she came down to this area, basically her PT, and let me just do some math here. I believe it came down to 10,000 extra dollars. So she wanted 10,000 divided by, she's basically at a 47 work week with vacation and holidays that they have up in Canada. So it's around 47. So an extra 212 divided by, they work at 37.5 work week. So he needs an extra $5 and 5.67. So let's bump this up to 41. Great. So basically what he's going to do here is he's going to bump his pay up to 41. So he's going to need a $5 bump for that extra 10K. And then we're going to come back up to this area here and check our numbers out. So let me just bring it back here to 36. So we were at 15 and 23. And then we bump his pay up and it's going to be 16 and 24. All right, so that's really important here. Okay, guys, so she's really stressing out about the PT, and she wants to, should I let him go? And then I got to go through the hiring process. So I said, okay, well, hold on, let's slow down a second. Is he a good PT? She's like, yeah, he's great. Okay, well, do patients like him? Oh my gosh, they love him. Okay, so he's great. So why does he need $10,000? And then it finally came out. So he needs that's his comfort number because him and his wife are having their first kid. Now Canada's a little different. She gets a little bit more time off, but he's gonna be like the breadwinner for the family at the moment. The mom's gonna be home, possibly taking care of the baby. I don't know for how long, but kind of stressing out. Maybe has some loans. I don't know if Canada pays for school or don't. I don't know that information, but maybe he's got some student loans. And he crunched his numbers and did his metrics on his end and said, in order to cover my expenses, I just need $10,000 to be comfortable. So that way he might not have to go out and get another job, maybe do another side job, stuff like that. So he brought it to the table. He said, hey, this is what's going to make me comfortable in my family. I need 10,000 extra bucks. Okay. So Linda needs to sit down here. She puts in her break-even analysis, and she calculates that this dude here wants to increase his pay 5 extra bucks an hour to get to 10 extra K per year. And then Linda just needs to know that in order to break even on that transaction, she needs to see 1 extra patient per day. Now that's 1 extra patient per day per month. Okay, so it adds up. But then at the end of the month, and for her desired profit of 10K, she still just needs to go from 23 to 24. That's fine. So day, it doesn't, just 1 extra patient a day. I'm not a huge 1 extra patient a day guy. I like to look at patients per month because it gives you it adds all that up for you. So 344 here, and then 497. So 344 and 497. So 360. Okay, so 344 just went to 360. So he needs to see 16 extra patients per month. I think that's pretty doable. And then down here it was 497. Yep, and desired profit 10K, 497. So we're going to add 3 and 317 extra visits per month to make $10,000. Okay, see how that works, guys? So basically what you do is you plug in your calculations here. You make sure this is exactly how you want it set up, and it's as accurate as you possibly can get it. So when you calculate the numbers, you're like, I only need to see, just a couple extra people, 344 to 360. I only need to see 16 extra visits a month in order to break even. Okay, it's pretty much that simple. You could calculate, you could play around with a couple different numbers here. What if my 2% isn't going to, what if we try to calculate this off of 5%? Numbers might change a little bit for desired profit, stuff like that. But at the same time, you could play around with the numbers. What if I made, $70 reimbursement too? And then if I just increase my revenue per visit, he doesn't even need to do anything. You can see the same patient load. All I have to do is increase my revenue per visit. What are some ways I can do that? Possibly increasing my length of stay. What if we just bumped up 0.5%? Next thing you know is the numbers stay the same here. And then even the break-even analysis, this brings you how many patients you need to how many new patients they need each week, to figure that out. So that's why this stuff is really important, guys. Same thing, we could do an admin example. Let's say that she wants an extra buck. So I'm going to bring her up to an extra $1 here to 18. Okay, maybe it's a big difference in her life to get $18 instead of 17. So, and as you can see here, my numbers, and I'm highlighting right here, I want you guys to focus here. My numbers aren't changing for patients per day. What they are changing here is they're gonna change per month. So in order for her to get an extra buck, she goes from 335 patients a month to 338. So I need to see 3 more patients a month to cover that $1. And then for my desired profit, I go from 477 to 481. I need to see 4 more patients in order to make my desired profit by her getting an extra $1. So am I going to lose sleep over 4 extra patients? Probably not. Now, if you find that it's a little bit more difficult, to achieve some of these goals, then you have a conversation. You talk to them, hey, you want 10K, I'm going to put you at a base pay, and then I'm going to bonus you as you hit different metrics. So, hey, 60 visits a week, let's do this. I'll give you base pay. Once you hit 65, I'll give you your next portion of your bonus. And then once you hit 70, I'll give you your next portion, so on and so forth. So you want to protect your business a little bit, but at the same time, I just want to point out in this video that this is more manageable than Linda realizes. So once again, guys, break-even analysis, if you're not filling them out, I highly recommend them. Down here, we have a 40-hour work week and a 60. So 60-hour work week is just for my people that work 7 to 7 or 8 to 8. 40-hour work week is the people that are doing 40 hours. So these numbers over here will be a little bit different. So once again, this is Robbie here, walking you guys through the break-even analysis. And Linda, hopefully this gives you a peace of mind because it's not as bad as you think it is. All right. Peace.